So it's taking leadership that one step further, helping people to implement that change, holding them by the hand, giving that instructions, giving that step-by-step process to be able to make that change in their business or in their lives. There's many types of groups, and there's many types of leadership skills. And there's a lot of research, a lot of books, a lot of reporting on leadership as a skill. But here's just a few tips which I understand, which I've been able to observe over my years, that'll help you improve your leadership skills. And the first one, which I see as something different that's started to emerge over the last year or two, is the leadership skills based on the concept of business tribes. And that's moved away from Maslow's law of hierarchy, where there's individuals walking around the forest, foraging for leaves, foraging for food, and we were just like other beasts, other animals in the forest. And as we came together as groups, one so the population would expand, but also for security and safety and be able to start to hunt together, that's where things started to change. And the groups were disorganised until some leadership came through, and that's when leadership of tribes started to come through. And that's the tribes looking to the old-fashioned tribes, which is looking to be able to go forward and work together. And in the last 30 or 40 years, there's been this concentration on teams and a team leader and roles that team members have within the team to be able to take that team forward to a point. However, there's been lots of issues within those leadership roles within those teams to understand where the actual team is going. Who makes the decision on the direction of the team? Who makes the decision on the roles within that team? Who judges who the team leader should be as well? So there was been some challenges within this concept of the team. Is it an effective use of getting people to be able to work together to get an outcome for everybody? And that's where business tribes comes in, because that's a different way of looking how people can come together. And that's a movement above the concept of teams to be able to get that understanding across all the players within that tribe, all the players within that group, to understand the barriers of the individuals, but also what's good for them. What outcome do they want out of their lives? What outcome do they want out of that business role to be able to make their lives better? And as a team leader, it's moved from being a team leader to direct people to a person, a tribe leader, who's managing that process across those members, managing that process to get communication between tribe members, but also managing the network bonds, that understanding, that trust and respect across all members, so they all move forward together, all move forward trusting that as they move forward, everybody will get a win out of that process at some point. It's not trying to make the leadership strong. It's not trying to make the business strong without looking after the players within the business. And that's a skill set. That's a more modern skill set that's important to try and understand. So the basis of that is communication. The basis of that is to be able to listen to people, listen to tribe members on barriers for their personal growth, listen to tribe members on where they want to go as a business, as an organisation, listen to tribe members what's stopping them being effective members for themselves, and what can we all do to try and help them overcome those barriers in their life or barriers in their business. But it isn't easy. An easy way is to have that autocratic leader telling people what to do and where to go. And my dad was like that. He was old school, 1950s, 1960 businessman who knew that if you didn't do it my way, you went down the highway. And if you didn't do it my way, out the door, get someone new in, let's get that churn of people going through. And that was short-term thinking, short-term understanding, because it always costs more to get somebody in. You've got to retrain them to do it your way. You've got to retrain them to either think like you do or have a script for them to be able to do, but something gets out of the script and they're inefficient. Can they upsell? No, they can't, because it's not on the script. They don't understand to engage the customer. They don't understand that the customer is important to be able to not just make sure that they've got solutions for their problems, but if we look after them, all these other customers can be engaged as well. So they're after the quick buck. They're after that quick sale, get that tick off because the autocratic leader has told them that's what he needs. His KPI, he wants to make a sale today, now. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Rather than having that long-term relationship, that long-term sustainable business, that's much, much more valuable than that quick sale. I just see so many businesses on the stock exchange, some that have never made any money, losing billions of dollars, and people still investing in them, thinking that somehow the world's going to change and then they're going to somehow make a profit. I just can't understand the world at all. I just can't understand how that relationships with shareholders, that relationship with suppliers and employees can be sustained when it keeps on losing money, keeps on churning over people. And the only way that they seem to overcome it was to then sack all their employees, and then they can't make a profit anyway. So what they're not looking at is a long-term sustainable business. They're trying to make a quick profit today, and some companies can do that, but then they're failing in that anyway. So there's, as leaders, you have to doubt where they're taking their business, where they're taking their community, and understanding that their employees are a major part of that community going forward. Some typical things to be able to increase your skill sets, because one of the challenges with any leadership is to get that confidence that you've got that knowledge to be able to have that process of engagement. And so it's not just listening, but it's also putting across that you've got solutions. So you've got to have solutions. And there's ways to be able to overcome that and ways to be able to gain those solutions. And I found that I read a lot of books. I read a lot of things online. You have to be careful on what you read online. But a lot of books, especially history books, because there's nothing new in the world. Even the concept of business drives goes back 2,500 years to the time of Confucius. So there's a Confucianism attribute within the Chinese community called Guanji, and the Guanji is a person-to-person networking. And the way that you can engage businesses and communities is just one person at a time, engaging, understanding problems, understanding solutions, working together. So it's a win-win situation. Using those concepts to actually change the world is really important. So it's not a quick fix. It's making relationships, and it's understanding that there's lots of history that you can use to be able to increase your current skills. So the concept of Guanji on Confucianism is one. There's a lot of mentors out there that have used their skill sets to be able to create change. Here in the States, there's a lot of sporting coaches that have been able to make change in their sports teams, to turn them around, change them from a rabble, not knowing where they're going, bring them together as a team, and then across to be able to win world championships and those sorts of things. There's been people that have been able to turn around major corporations to change that culture within that business, to be able to look at that, how their solutions for potential purchasers change those businesses around and then make things happen. So it's leadership based on knowledge. So gaining new knowledge is always important. And some of that new knowledge can come from your tribe, because they're out investigating things as well. You don't have to have all the solutions, but having that opportunity to be able to talk with people, that communication between people, that's when you can start to share ideas and share solutions. And share with other people, other businesses. They're not competitors. You're not fighting over the same person. What you're trying to do is trying to come up with solutions that work. Trying to come up with solutions that give you a fair return on your effort, and you're not fighting over price. Because you're fighting over price, no one wins. The consumer doesn't even win, because they end up with a solution that may or may not be perfect for their problem. They may buy it cheaper, but it may not be a solution for their problem. So then it becomes really expensive. So it's not fighting each other, it's actually coming up with solutions that work and solutions that change. And you have to change with the changing times. So it's about getting those leadership skills finally come back to the reason why that group is there. The reason why that tribe is there. Is it to make more profit for the business? Is it to help people? Is it to find solutions? Is it, there's a whole range of reasons why that group is that reason for being. And then that leadership attributes affect whether that group is going to be effective or not, whether it's going to be successful or not. It's whether it's going to be successful for the tribe members or just individuals within that team or within that group. So all these skills, the major one is an understanding that the world has moved on from this time of information, this time of just giving a book or giving a PDF or giving information and making an assumption that people can make change. So it's taking leadership that one step further, helping people to implement that change, holding them by the hand, giving that instructions, giving that step-by-step process to be able to make that change in their business or in their lives. And it's a major skill set for a leader isn't just telling people to change, it's showing people to change. And that implementation is the greatest skill set that you as a leader can have. I hope you really enjoyed this video. And if you want a deeper dive where I share some more information on how you can implement business tribes in your business or organisation, grab the link below at businesstribes.com.